Welcome back to Generación Latina here with Andres Kong
Chunky.
Not King Kong, no. I wanted to get back to this conversation. We're having just a great discussion on the pathway to college, to career, overcoming great disadvantages, such as coming to this country at 14 years old. That can be seen, that can definitely feel as a disadvantage, right? You have a lot to catch up with. And you've done so in a really great way. You started high school not knowing the language, and you finished top of your class. And you were showing me this picture. Tell me a little bit, explain, what is this? You're in the capital?
Yeah, so if we can take a look at it. I was at a program called the Close-Up Program, very famous for bringing new Americans to Washington, D.C. And part of what I wanted to share with you today is that when you have a plan, when you have an idea of where you want to be, take steps. Don't be shy. Take steps into finding out how to get closer to the people who are creating change in your field of interest. So in my case, I was always interested since a young age, interested in politics and policy and how to serve, how to affect people's lives in a positive way at the policy level. And Washington, D.C. at the time was the capital of world politics. And I wanted to be part of that team, of that trip. And finding out the opportunities with the right teachers, they said, oh, there's a program here. And this goes back to our plan, to devising the plan, backwards planning, what you need to do to go to where you need to be. So in my case, I backwards planned it, and I said, if I want to go to college and study political science, what are the requirements, what are the steps that I can take to get there? And one of those was interning and finding opportunities to go to Washington and to learn from the people who are creating policy. And for you, it might look different. And some people may be interested in art, in music. Some people may be interested in math. My best friend went, during the summer to Massachusetts Institute of Technology to do a summer program and learn math and engineering. So it doesn't matter what subject you're learning. Always be involved in those internships, in those summer opportunities. There is no free time. At our age, we have, plenty to learn. So your free time should always be a time for discovery, and it should always be a time for curiosity, rather than sitting back at home. I know that telenovelas are awesome, but we need to make an effort to be curious and to learn more all the time. So this is a great step, because thanks to this this relationship I built when I was 14 years old, 5 years later when I was in college, between my freshman and sophomore year in college, I interned for Congressman Russ Layton from Miami. And it doesn't have to be anything related to party lines or ideologies. When you're there as a young person, it's about learning. And they opened the doors. And it all started from a simple 14-year-old going to D.C., in a trip to learn about America.
And what's amazing is that, most high schoolers don't think that they can do this until they're in college.
Absolutely.
But there definitely are ways to go. I had that opportunity as well to live just for a week in Georgetown University and have be exposed to policy issues and people that were right there, right in the dirty trenches of politics. And there's ways to get there. I know it costs money, but there are ways to get funded, do fundraising. So, it's just a matter of searching and finding your passion, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And imagine if you're in love with social media, for example, have a drive, where you raise money to visit Silicon Valley and make your way there and say, hi, hello, my name is Fulano de Tal, and I want to learn about what you do. And I assure you, nobody's going to say, go back. Everybody's going to open their arms and help you.
And that's something that I think we take for granted, is that, there's a lot of people that are willing to help younger people that just want to give back, that want to teach you what they've learned. Even more so with us, right? Our generation of young, up-and-coming Latinos, there's a tremendous amount of media attention that we're getting because of the political, goodwill that we're stirring. So, I mean, just listen to what happened this last week with $25 million fund started by, you know, the former owner of the Washington Post just for dreamers. It's an amazing time for us, you know,
Absolutely.
and I think it's only the beginning. We really just have to reach for it. Now, I wanted to talk about, you know, your experience with Teach for America. This is something you did after college, and it's an amazing way to give back to this country and what it's given to you. What is Teach for America? What was that experience like? How did it change you as a person?
Great question. Let's start with how we got there. Those steps that we took in high school, working hard, doing the dual enrollment in the summer, preparing yourself for college, and the right mentors, the right recommendations, eventually pay off. And you can make your list of schools, top 20, you pick your top dream schools, your middle ground schools, and your safety schools. And I assure you, you're going to hit one. And you're going to get there, and it's going to happen. Once that happens, once you're in college, here's where the real game starts. Because you need to learn at a fast-paced level. Nobody's watching over you. You need to be super responsible with your education. And this is where you become an adult. And this is a time for learning, for traveling, for exploring, and asking questions that are more precise, that are not just about a general notion of who you want to be, but more precise about how to actually achieve a specific career. In my case, my senior year of college at Vanderbilt University, which I need to say this, Vanderbilt believed in me because they didn't have to. My scores were not as high as the other applicants coming, from an immigrant background, perhaps not what they were looking for in an applicant, but they believed in the potential, and they're going to believe in your potential as well when you apply. And Vanderbilt educated me and taught me so many good things, and that instilled in me a sense of service. In Nashville, Tennessee, the volunteer state, right? And I remember clearly my senior year thinking, what am I going to do to give back to my community, to serve? And Teach for America, few words, straight up vision, and educational inequity in this country, so that all kids, no matter their zip code, no matter where they come from, no matter what they look like, they can have access to an excellent education. That mission, straight to the point, simple and elegant, attracted my career, my sense of what the world ought to be. And I decided to teach in Miami, which is my region where I grew up in the United States. And it was a life-changing experience. I can tell you, when I went from being a little boy, a little Vandy boy, to being a man, to being a leader, to learning in the trenches, teaching in the inner city with underrepresented kids is an experience that will change your life, because you're not dealing with books anymore. You're dealing with reality. You're dealing with where we are. And you need to take what everybody else despises, what nobody else wants to engage in, and revive it, revitalize it. And that was the first step after you graduate from college. Always think about how you can serve and how you can give back. JFK said it clearly, right? It's not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Think about that.
You stepped into this classroom, you have no teaching experience, you didn't even study to be a teacher.
That's right.
In college. You step in, and what do you find?
I was entrusted with the lowest 25% performing kids in English language.
In the city?
In the city and in the school. Statewide, our school was, it wasn't performing at the level it was supposed to. And we turned it around, right? We turned a very low grade statewide to a C+, B- in the 2 years I was there. Something unprecedented, because for 8 years in a row the school was failing. And we were able to turn it around, not just because we work hard to teach the kids. We work with them. We empower them to make them understand that this was about their future, to make them understand the urgency, and that the whole country was counting on them to succeed.
How did you do that? I see some of the kids in this great picture, which just gives me a sense of your dedication. This is outside the classroom. So tell me a little bit more. How did you accomplish that?
So from 7 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., there's just so much that you can do. And remember, these were kids that perhaps were in 9th grade, reading at a 2nd grade level. Here we go again with the story of so many of us that are a little behind. For whatever reasons, our immigrant families do not have the resources, maybe perhaps don't even speak the language, your parents, they can't help you with your homework. That happens. But what you can do about it, right? Your agency is what changes the whole story. Your big goal, your plan to change what has already been given to you. So we instill in these children, in these kids, in these students, the necessity to attain an excellent education. That it wasn't an option, that it was a necessity, an urgency for their future and the future of their society and those around them who will be affected by their knowledge and their cultural capital. Because it was not just about money, it's about who they are as people. People who are always nice to talk to. People are going to want to be around you when you know things, when you understand things, when you relate to others. So for our Latino family here in Washington and in the United States as a whole, we have so much to offer.
We do.
And we're so smart. And I'm going to tell you this from the bottom of my heart. We're so much more than chips and salsa. And we have so much to give. We have Nobel laureates in literature. We have amazing scientists. Now we have startups taking place in this country from immigrants. And the top 500 companies, you know, they come from immigrants as well. We have so much to give than just, you know, food or a dance, which is awesome, by the way, because I love Shakira and I love Enrique Iglesias. But we have, and they're doing work to make sure that life is much more than pop culture, that we contribute, you know, we contribute to society in a much deeper way.
Yeah. Wow, we've covered a lot. I feel like we could go on and on, but I really just want to sum it up. So what is, you know, from asking questions, from taking a step forward, from planning your future kind of backwards and do some goal setting, what is one thing that young Latinos can do right away, tomorrow morning, to get there, right? I mean, here you are, you know, in Washington, D.C., writing policy. What is one thing before we go?
Right away, let's make sure that we go to collegeboard.org and that we dive deep into that website and that we look at what are the deadlines to apply to college, to different colleges, what are the financial aid opportunities, and who are the institutions that can help give you money to get to college.
And surround yourself with good people.
And surround yourself with good people. Absolutely. That's the key.
Thank you, Andres. Pleasure being with you, and thank you so much for staying with us. I hope you jot down some notes and see us on generacionlatina.org and on Facebook. Have a great night.